Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing something a little different. We're going to build a rock tumbler. Not for me, but for somebody I know who's into rocks and likes to tumble them apparently. But we're going to try building a tumbler and see how it turns out. This is what I've got so far. I've built this little frame. Just round frame here, and these two coming straight up, or four. And then we're good. Next thing we got to do, weld some angle iron between these to hold our rollers. So that's the next thing we're going to do. I've never done this before, but we're going to give it a shot. Alright guys, so you can see how this is going to go. I'm going to bolt those to there. I'm going to put one more layer here, and then we'll put one more on the top. So this should be able to hold 6 of these at a time and tumble them. That's what we're going for. So I'm going to get these others welded on, and then I'll show you where we're at. Alright guys, we got these all welded in. I got these all marked. I got to drill holes where these white dots are for my bearings for these. Go on each one of these. So that's my next project, is drilling. I think it's 24 holes here. Alright guys, we got all of these holes drilled, which took some time. I'm telling you, I should have drilled them as I went up welding, but you know, you don't think of those things at the time. Anyway, I got them all drilled. I'm gonna go to bed for tonight, and we'll pick this up hopefully later this week and get it finished up. Alright guys, so on this rock tumbler we're going to use a swamp cooler motor because it was the cheapest thing I could find that I think will work. And if we do it right, it'll have a high and a low speed. Not that you really need that. I'm not sure what the optimum RPMs is, but I'll have to check that out and get that figured out with pulleys and stuff. But anyway, we got to make our mount to hook it to the frame, so that's what we're going to do now. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to drill some holes in these 2 bars. Then we'll bolt those to this bracket. Once we have them bolted to this bracket, then we'll be able to weld a bar here and one here and make a good strong frame that's going to weld to our frame over here. Alright guys, so this is what we're looking at. I'm going to weld those pieces of angle iron to there. The motor will sit right there. Pulley, big pulley up here, bell to run up here, and we'll run the other pulleys off of that side. Alright guys, so we're back on this here rock polisher. You can see this is my basic idea. We got the barrels up there, 2 of the poles. There'll be a layer below, a layer above. The motor's going to sit right here, power this pulley. Then on the other side be a belt that goes to the top and a belt that goes to the bottom one, and that'll do it. So need to get this motor mount welded on, and then what we're going to do is get this thing painted, because it'll be to that point that if I have to touch a couple things up, I can, but it should be good. So the next thing we're going to do is get that motor mount welded on. Alright guys, we got that welded up. I'm just gonna cut this one off even. And I think I'll put a piece of angle iron across there just to make it look a little nicer. Not that it really needs it, I don't think. In fact, I may just cut them even because that's gonna hold everything that motor needs. So yeah, I'll probably just cut these off. Call it good. Alright guys, I'm just gonna weld this on here. I cut this the other day. Not that it really needs it, but I think it'll help it from ever swaying back and forth that way, which I don't think it would, but you know, if it's worth doing, it's worth overdoing, so let's get it done. Alright guys, I got this thing ready. We just got to cut those two ends off, which I'll do when I stand it up. I'm going to take the pulleys and everything off, clean it up, and get it outside and get some paint on it. Then we'll be able to, after it dries, bring it back in and get the final assembly done on it and show you if or how this works. Alright, so I got these cut off. I might hurry and weld underneath here just for kicks. And then I'm going to take a wire wheel, get all these stickers off, and we'll wipe it down and get it painted. Alright, we got to get these stickers off. Alright, I'm going to be here for the next 5 years getting stickers off, so we'll see when that's done. Alright guys, I've got some of this lacquer thinner. I'm just going to wipe this thing down, get it all nice and cleaned up. Alright guys, we got it all cleaned up. I'm going to take that motor mount off because I don't want to paint it because it's already painted, and we'll put it back on with the motor. Alright guys, we're going to get some primer on this thing. Alright guys, this is dry. We're going to get some paint on it. Decided to go with this blue color. Seemed like rocks to me, so hope they like it. Alright guys, we got this thing all painted up. Looks pretty good, especially from a distance. Anyway, we're going to get this thing, start assembling it. I have the other two bars, but I left those at my work, so I'm going to have to bring those home tomorrow, but we can get pretty much everything else assembled on it. See if we can make this work, so stick around. Alright guys, we got the motor mounted. Now I'm putting these bars on. I put this one on and the one below it, and then I'm going to have to hold off because I left the other bars at my work. It's going to bring them home, but you know how that goes. Getting old. Alright guys, so I'm waiting for my hoses to heat up so I can put them on the other pipe, other rollers, and then I'll show you how I put those on. In the meantime, I'm going to mount this electrical box. Cord will run up to here. We'll have the controller here for the high and the low deal on it. There we go. Alright guys, so I'm going to show you that's how I got the last stuff on. I let it warm up for a while. Got me some regular old dish soap here. It's kind of messy. Just put some of that on here. It won't slide on without something, I'm telling you. I tried. Get it good and slick. Dump a little in here. And it's messy, but it was the easiest way I found to do it. And that's it. Just get you a rag, wipe that off, and I can tell you, once that soap dries, we used to do this with grips on handlebars on four-wheelers. Once that soap dries, it works like a glue in there, and that stuff won't turn. Like you'd have to cut that off there to get it back off once that dries. Okay, I'm going to do the other one, then we'll get it bolted onto our frame here. Alright, so I got this here fancy belt. I got off the Jungle website. So we're going to try her out, see if it works. It's supposed to be a one size fits all. See how this goes. Yeah, you just turn that, lock it in there. Maybe. That's the theory anyway. There we go. Oh, now my front one came out. Just like that. Bottom pulley isn't on yet, so suppose I might be able to just go like this. There we go. Oh yeah, we'll get that pulley tightened up. We'll be in business. Alright, so that's how that's going to work. I had it on upside down at first, but looks like it should do the job. Hopefully it holds up. We'll see. If not, I'll have to get a regular belt to put on it, but it was kind of a cool idea, so you didn't have to go to the auto parts and search around for 400 different belts. So anyway, I gotta get those other two bottom bars. We'll do those tomorrow. It's probably gonna do it for tonight. I'm gonna head to bed. Alright guys, so you can see I've got all my pulleys on here now. Got that bottom rollers put on. All the rollers put on. We got to wire it, put the belts on it, and Oh, I gotta build some rollers for here so that if the barrels come over too far, they don't hit the bearings. So I gotta do that, but we're getting there. I was gonna try to put some keyways in these, but I decided I'm gonna try it with just tightening these down and see if they hold. I think they will. I don't think they're gonna come loose. If it comes down to it, I'll drill a divot into the pipe here for that screw to hold into if I need to. I'll probably do that on the main pulley, but I think on these ones it's gonna be okay. Alright, so we got to put our belts on there. I got more of this funky belt. I'm going to put one on this one to the upper one on that one to the lower one. And I'm just going to stretch fit these, and I'm hoping that'll be tight enough that we won't have any issues with it. If it turns into be a problem, we'll figure out a way to put a tensioner on it, but I don't think it will. Alright guys, so you can see how this is going to work. I got to get another single pulley to go from here to there, because this one's going to have to come over here. I don't know why I didn't think of that, but you know, sometimes that's just the way it goes. So these will have to be moved in a little bit so I can fit a single pulley on here. Single pulley there, that'll run down to there, and then those between there. So it'll all work out. Alright guys, so we got our pulleys ordered. Those get here, we'll finish that up. In the meantime, we're going to get everything else finished on this thing so that it's ready to go. And first, what we got to do now is I got to glue the ends on our tumbler barrels here so we can see where to put our stops. Got to put a little wheel up here on the top so that it knows where to stop. You'll see. All right. Now we just got to get the other side glued. Let's see what size we got here. Alright guys, there you have it. That's our tumbler barrel all glued together. It's a heavy thing. I don't think there'll be a problem with it wearing out. So that'll sit there. We're going to put one this size over here. Why? Because that's what fits. No other real reason other than this is what'll fit, you know. Should have made it just a little bit wider, I guess, but the metal I had for the base and stuff, just that's the length it was, so that's what we get. I didn't want to have to go buy all new metal. But anyway, we're going to make this work. We're going to cut a piece of pipe, glue this one together, then I can see where my stopper wheels need to go down here, and we'll put those on. Alright, so there's our tumbler barrels. We just got to get the caps for the ends of them, which shouldn't be too hard to do, just a rubber cap. Then we'll have to build 2 more of each one. Alright, now what we got to do, because you can see over here, the issue is if these walked over, they'd start rubbing on these. So what we're going to do is build a bracket to mount one of these wheels here, so that if it comes over, it just hits this wheel, and this wheel will just sit and spin. So that's what we're going to do next. I think what we're going to do, what I'm going to try to do is build a bracket that just bolts to the bottom of this bolt here, and then the wheel will sit kind of like that, and it can just sit and spin if it needs to. These are just wheels for roller blades. Alright guys, so this is what I've come up with. I'm going to cut these in 3-inch pieces. That'll give me 12 of them. I'm going to take these and turn them and weld one side to the other 1/4 inch taller. And I'll bolt this to the 1/2 inch bolt. And I'll bolt the wheel to the side that's a little higher. That way it'll hit the barrel. And it'll just sit and spin if we need it to. Pretty simple, but that's going to work. so you can visualize what's in my head here. I'm going to weld them like this. I'm going to put this one here and bolt it. Of course it'll be slid back, and then this will sit up here. So we're probably going to have to weld it up quite a ways actually, like at the very top of this. Yeah, so we'll weld it like that. And then if we need to, we can put a little spacer on this so it hits it more. But yeah, so we're going to weld it so it's up probably like there. We'll just put that in the vise and we'll weld them. We'll be good to go. Alright guys, so I got this set up in the vise so it's offset like that, and I'm just going to run a bead along there, put those two together. I'll build one of these and then I'll build the other 6. I want to build one, make sure it's going to work before I build 6 of them. There we go. Alright guys, so I got this bolted on here and I drilled a hole right here. So these, I'm going to put, I'll have to get a spacer, but for now I just got these washers. And this will sit like that. The bolt will go on the bottom. So when this hits it, it'll turn. It's on a bit of an angle because of my weld. I'm going to have to grind those welds, and when I weld those other ones, I'm going to weld them on the bottom side so I don't have to grind them. But yeah, it's going to work. Those will hit and they'll just do their thing, you know. Yeah, so I drilled the hole in the wrong spot to begin with, but this is where it needs to be, is in the middle. So instead of welding it up here, I'm going to weld them on this side. This one I'm going to have to grind down a bit, and then I'll re-weld it over here. But that seems to be, that's going to work. Alright guys, that's it. I've got 6 of them. They're a little warm. I'm going to let them cool. I need to grind that one. Then I'm going to paint them. I'm not going to drill the hole for the wheel till I get it up there. That way you can see exactly where it needs to be. But I'll paint them, bolt them on, and then drill the hole for the wheel. Yeah, it's there. Alright guys, I got this one all ground down. It's ready now. And you might ask, why didn't I just weld them to that? Well, because I didn't think about it before I painted it, so they're going to get bolted. The better way would probably be to weld them, but I don't want to have to tear the whole thing apart and repaint it again because I'm lazy like that. So we're going to bolt them, and it's going to work just fine. So that's the next thing I got to do, is I'm going to get these painted, and probably won't show you that because that's pretty boring. And then I'll show you when I get them all bolted on there. Alright guys, you can see I got a mess here because I've been working on this thing and I haven't cleaned anything up. But we're getting there. I'm going to do the wiring right now. I'm going to get that wired up so we can plug it in and see if this thing will turn. So that's my project now. Alright guys, so what I did, since this is a evaporator cooler motor, it's probably way more than what we need for this. But I bought this, which is just a switch plate for one. Then we'll have the low, the high. That's all we'll need to use, low, high, and off. We're going to put that right here, run our wires in here. We'll be all set. So these will come up into here. I think what I want to do is put some shrink wrap around these where it comes through there first. So I'm going to feed a couple of these onto there, and we'll shrink wrap it so it's got some insulation around it. Well, alright guys, I guess it's the moment of truth. See if it blows up. No sparks, I plugged it in. Let's see what happens if we turn it on. Oh, we got power. We got some turnage. We're gonna have to fix belts, but the top one's moving. Look at that. And that's impressive. That's high. That's low. So like I say, I'm not 100% sure how fast it's got to spin, but hey, looks good to me. Alright guys, we're going to try this out. I had it on for a minute. There we go. We got the belts all tightened up. Everything's turning. I got to put the rest of these on, tighten them up. It's going that way right now because the garage goes that way, so once it's leveled up, I think they'll stay level. The other thing is I noticed these aren't exactly the same height, so I may have to wrap some, I don't know, wrap something around that to make it a little bit taller because it wants to go that way. Of course, once these wheels are on there, I don't think it'll matter. So it'll just hit those. But anyway, we're going to get the rest of these wheels and brackets put on, and then I'll come back and show that to you. Alright guys, so I've just been out putting some finishing touches on the old rock tumbler. I just finished up these wheels. I think it's pretty much done now. I got to tie the wires up so they stay out of the motor. I think I'm going to have to tighten these belts up a bit. I may even have to find a way to actually tension those belts because they seem to want to slip a lot, and I may even end up switching those to chains or something so that they won't slip. But I'll keep you updated on that and let you know. I'm going to turn this on, let it run for a while, and see how that goes. I just want to give it a test for a bit. So I'll show you here. These hit the end, they'll hit that wheel. So that's the whole point of those. They can hit the end and run along it, and it won't hurt anything. Alright, I'm going to tighten that one belt up, and then we'll go from there. Alright guys, it seems to be doing its thing. I took one link out of that belt. I'm going to let it run for a while, because it hasn't ran for a while. I think I'm going to tie that cord up first, but I'm going to tie that up, and then I'm going to let it run for probably a couple hours empty. Get some more ends for these pipes, and eventually then I will be able to fill them up with like water put some weight on it and see what it does. Alright guys, we're back on the old rock tumbler here. I'm building some tensioner pulleys. What I figured out was these belts are slipping, and I tried to get them like as tight as I could with stretching them, but I'm like, they're just not going to stretch fit. So I'm building some tensioner pulleys, and basically, let's see, yeah, so basically what these will do, this is sitting the wrong way, but it'll sit in here, be welded to there, and then I'll be able to slide this back and forth to adjust the tension on the belt. So I'm going to build one of those for each one of these, and then I'll come back and I will show it to you when we get finished up here, so stick around. Alright guys, I got all these built. Now, show you what I did is I bought these. These are like a furniture brace. I cut this middle piece right here out of them. I bought these pulleys. Those are for a rototiller. And then I found some bolts in my scrap bolt thing. You can tell because I got 5 or 6 washers on there to make it work. I may get some different bolts when the hardware store opens, but it's Sunday, they're closed, so we're going to deal with what we got today. Anyway, now I just got to get these all welded on. Once I have them welded on, then I'll show you how they work. We'll be able to adjust those belts, tighten them up as tight as we need them, so we won't have any more slippage. Alright, so to line these up, I'm just going to get out the old micrometer here. Right there, clamp her with some vice grips, and we'll weld it in place. Alright guys, we got those all welded on, so if this didn't add more to the chaos of the way it looks. But anyway, I'm going to let those cool down for a second. Hoping they have enough strength this way. I think they will. They don't, I mean, they barely need to put any pressure on it at all, really. Just enough to make the belt not slip, so it won't be much. I'm going to let it cool down, get those tightened up, then we'll turn this thing on and see if it works. Alright guys, we got it plugged in. I got these all over here. I'm going to let you watch those. Okay, tell me if these slip now. Before they'd slip like crazy when you first started it. Once the belt's warmed up, then they weren't so bad. Oh yeah, no slippage. I'm thinking I'm going to fill these full of some water, about halfway on each of them. Put them on here and let this thing run for a while. Make sure we don't have any issues. Well, I don't see why that's not going to work. Yeah, good deal. Problem solved. Alright guys, we let this thing run for a couple hours, and belts staying nice and snug, not slipping on us. I just got to finish getting these barrels. I made them too long. I got to get some more pipe and shorten those up just a little. And then we're going to do that. Paint it. I need to put some weight in those, so I'll probably just fill them like half full of water. Let them run for a while, make sure everything's going to be good, and then we'll get this thing to its new home. Hey guys, how's it going? We're going to test out the old rock tumbler, see if she's going to work. I've got in here, because I'm not a rock guy, I'm going to clean some brass and see if this thing works. Heck, we may be making another one of these for a brass cleaner. So I'm just going to put some water in here, put a little soap in here, A little bit of lemon shine. I got these about half full. I'll fill them 3/4 of the way full with water. Put a little drop of soap in each one. We'll get them spinning. Alright guys, so far on our test, it's not looking so good. These are the only 2 barrels that weren't leaking water when I filled them up. So I thought that I put so much glue on those, but apparently it wasn't enough because some of them are still leaking. This one I think I can fix by putting something around the outside. But these 3 narrower ones, I'm probably just going to have to build new ones. And I guess put a different kind, better glue on it, something. Because I used a different kind of glue on these 2 than I did these ones. And these 2 aren't leaking. So maybe it was the glue. We got some crap glue, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, we're going to let these 2 run for a while, see what happens. And I'll have to get some parts and fix these other barrels. Alright guys, this is the rock tumbler finished up. All these barrels are full of water. We got them tumbling on here. Got the right size belt put on this finally. Got all the tensioners built over here. All this. So we're going to let her run for probably an hour or 2. Make sure none of them's leaking. And then we'll go from there.
Oh, shut up! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
Start it up.
Oh my gosh, dude, shut up! No! Oh my gosh! Oh my god! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh, dude! Oh my gosh! Oh my freaking heck! This is nuts! Oh my heck!
Guys, so I went ahead and built this rock tumbler. I knew nothing about rock tumbling when I started. I learned a little bit by watching some videos and stuff, but I built this for one of my friends who does a lot for other people but never has anything done for him. So I hope he enjoys it. I hope it works well for him. If you like what you see, give us a thumbs up, like, share, subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.